That's Stray's tutoring. Hey guys, welcome to today's video where we'll be talking about the bonobo. The bonobo is one of humanity's closest relatives and are often overshadowed by their more aggressive cousins, the chimpanzee. But what truly sets the bonobo apart, is their bizarre and almost surreal social behavior, which challenges many preconceptions that we have about them in, the animal kingdom. Unlike chimp, who are ruled by this dominance and this aggression, bonobos are strikingly a bit more peaceful. Again, a bit more peaceful. Not like they're some hippie all the time, but compared to chimps, a bit more peaceful. So in this video, we're going to go over how they engage in sexual activity to resolve a lot of disputes, their hierarchy system, and even their behaviors beyond mating. So this is going to be a very interesting video where you guys jump into our cousins. Remember, these are our cousins, so let's be very respectful to them and learn more about them, because they are actually a very important puzzle piece to our evolutionary timeline. So if we jump into some key facts, what do we have? I'm not going to go in order of the bullets, but the most important thing that I want to get into is these guys share over 98% of their DNA with humans. And that means that they're one of our closest relatives. What did I say before? Respect our cousins. And I mean that because we have so much DNA that we share together that we're very closely related. Unlike the aggressive chimp cousins that, the chimp cousins, bonobos live pretty peacefully. They actually inhabit the tropical rainforests of the Democratic Republic in Congo, and they prefer dense forest areas near rivers and swamps. So you can see that they are in more of a foresty area, live very peaceful, and what really jumps out to us is their hierarchy and how the female actually holds a lot of the power. Female bonds are strong and they cooperate in social interactions, including grooming, foraging, and they really show their dominance. Again, comparison to the chimps where the male is the dominant, and the bonobos, the female is the dominant. And before we jump more into their social behavior, their diet is primarily fruits, leaves, flowers, seeds, small animals, and insects. So they have a quite diverse diet, but for the most part, a lot of smaller things, and it seems to me, mostly veggies. But now if we jump back into their behavior, what we can say is bonobos are known for their complex sexual behavior, which plays a critical role in their social structure. So they actually engage in a lot of sexual activity, and I don't mean just to reproduce. They actually use it as a means of establishing social bonds, reducing tensions, and even for conflict resolution. So sometimes their behavior is sometimes misunderstood for some niceness, but it actually serves functional purpose in their society, and they do a lot of it. And not to get too rated R, but they do everything that you in your head can think of when it comes to comes to sex. They almost do everything, almost close to how humans engage in sex. They perform fellatio, they do same sex mating, male with male, female with female. They also rub each other's private parts and genitalias together. Female and female do this as well. So there's a lot of different combinations of sexual activity that they do, and quite frankly, they actually have sex and perform masturbation and everything you could think of in the book several times a day. Almost every hour, every 2 hours, they engage in sex. And again, they don't just use it for reproduction, but it's for other things. So can you imagine how many times of the day they have, tension, they have conflicts that they didn't resolve, they want to maintain and establish social bonds, they're going to have sex, and that's exactly what they do. Now, aside from the whole sex thing, I know you biologists love that, but they are actually an endangered species as well. In the wild, they typically last 40 to 50 years, and in captivity, 60 years, just because they have better health and diet. But of course, they've been classified as an endangered species due to habitat destruction, logging, mining, and even some agriculture. So there's definitely some conservation efforts that and researchers, scientists, and group members are doing to keep our cousins, safe and still here. Because if these guys go endangered, that's not too fair. But again, they are endangered, but there are some initiatives that are happening to allow them to stay in their habitat. So if we jump to our timeline, so 6 to 7 million years ago, we have the Great Divergence. So you have humans, you have chimpanzees, and bonobos. We all share a common ancestor. So let's throw this thing out of the window. We did not come from monkeys. That is completely wrong. We share a common ancestor with chimpanzees and bonobos. If you kind of see this node here, this is where our common ancestor was. This is where we kind of branched off. We branched off to our right. You see this white man here. And then to our left, you have the two, you have the bonobo and the chimpanzee. So this is where we had branched off at. And I think a lot of people get it wrong, where they say, oh, we come from monkeys, and it's really not the case. It was a split that occurred, with one lineage leading to humans and the other towards chimpanzees and bonobos. And then you have another split with the chimpanzees and bonobos. This was 2 million years ago that, that split had occurred, giving you the chimpanzee and then the bonobo. So what's the reason for all of this? Most likely it was due to geographic separation by the Congo River, forcing a divide of the population. So what we have is the northern population evolved into chimpanzees, which are more aggressive, while that southern group evolved into bonobos, the more peaceful group. And then 2.5 million years ago, you have early human ancestors. And then, of course, I will link the video before, and that'll go more into the timeline for the humans. That's when you have Homo habilis emerge, later Homo erectus appears, and then you have more significant advances in human evolution. And as I stated before, bonobos and chimpanzees share 98.7% of their DNA with humans, so this highlights their close evolutionary relationship. Then if we go into our fossil record, a lot is limited when it comes to bonobos, but there is evidence that suggests their lineage has existed in Congo Basin for hundreds of thousands of years. So what are we doing now? We're actually having recent studies in genetic research continually to shed the light on evolutionary adaptations of bonobos, and particularly their social structures and behaviors compared to their chimpanzee relatives. So we are actively working on different studies to study their behaviors and compare it to the chimpanzees and even link it to humans. So why do we care? Why do all of this? Why study bonobos? Why did I choose a bonobo video? Is it because of the sex? No, that's not why. It's because studying bonobos is essential. They give unique insight in human evolution, social behavior, and the biological roots of empathy and cooperation. So again, they are our closest relatives. So this kind of rings a bell for us. They're closest to us, so why not study their behavior? Because this may help us understand some of our human behavior. These guys are freaks, bonobos. maybe this is the link to having a very stronger sex drive or sex addicts in humans, or the whole polygamy versus monogamy thing. Maybe there are genes that are associated with all of this that led to some people in our human population that have these same traits. I don't know, but it is something that can be looked at. And that's why it's important that we study these behaviors, especially knowing that we share so much DNA with these guys, right? So why else? Why bonobos? Unlike chimpanzees, which are more aggressive and have this hierarchy social system, bonobos are known to be peaceful. They resolve conflicts through sex rather than aggression. And this provides a model for non-violent social interactions in which we can study and again, we can use towards humans and really helping us understand why we act some certain ways. And is there a correlation? Is there a connection, or DNA wise? Is there a connection between the bonobo and then the chimpanzees and the bonobo to humans? Then we have empathy and cooperation. Bonobos demonstrate strong empathy. They social bond. They share food. They exhibit complex emotional behaviors, some that we barely see in, the rest of the animal kingdom. And so studying these traits will help researchers understand the roots of human social behaviors. So you kind of see where we're getting at here. Why is this all important? Why do we care? Because we share so much similarity with them and their social skills are so amazing that it almost, makes us want to study it and see if that is in direct correlation with how humans behave. And lastly, the conservation and ecological importance. Why bonobos? They're endangered. They're literally our cousins, and they are, possibly on the cusp of extinction if we don't do something about it. So studying them can help aid in conservation efforts and help protect the critical forests that support their biodiversity because they are our cousins and they are life too. So studying these guys can help us also aid them in not losing their habitat and really controlling hunting in the Congo. So that's why we do care because, again, they are kind of the understudy or kind of, overlooked. Everyone knows the chimpanzees, and I use the same example with the dinosaurs. Everyone knows dinosaurs. Everyone knows these types of apes and monkeys or whatever. But the bonobo, overlooked and is possibly one of the most important animals in the animal kingdom. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wanted to talk about the bonobos real quickly, their social behavior, their freaky behavior, and why they're so important to us. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.